Hello and welcome. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Monday evening. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I see some people in the live chat already. We got 17 people here already waiting. Toys Our Life is here. Frank is here. Mile High Plastic Guy, Broken Artist, RJ Stubbs, Smash Photo, Toy Stories, and Linda Toy Immersion. You guys, thank you so much for being here. This is going to be such a fun night. I have a really awesome guy here with me tonight. We're going to talk all about the wonderful work that he does. And here he is, the man himself. Brent, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. How was everyone else doing?
I'm doing good, and it seems like everyone is in the live chat and being very, very, very lively. And if you guys just let me know if you can hear Brent okay, too. So just to make sure, I don't want to screw anything up.
Yeah, we were having some audio issues earlier. So.
Yeah, and I mean it was 100% me, and I had to do like a big reset of all of my stuff that I do this with, and so I just want to make sure everything's good, because yeah, just want to make sure it's good. But anyway, Brent, tell me about yourself.
Yes. Well, I'm Brent England from Brent England Photography. It's pretty easy name to remember. I'm in Southern California. I'm married, no kids. I mean, unless you count an English bulldog, she acts like a kid. So, but I started photography back in high school when they taught film. Wasn't really interested in it. I was, but like not as much as I am now. And then I picked it up about in 2012. I picked it back up again, and then here we are. Did a lot of landscape, and I wasn't a toy collector by any means at the time. I owned toys and I loved them, and but I wasn't a huge collector. And I just started doing photography. Did a lot of landscape stuff. I know a lot of people look at my Instagram page. You'll see a lot of like Disney photos. I'm a huge Disney fan, so you'll see a lot of Disney photos like mixed in with like the toy photography stuff. It's kind of filtered now. It's kind of more all toys, but I still do a lot of Disney photography. And about 2 years ago, I decided I was like, I kind of wanted to. I had a lot of ideas in my head, and when I would like walk around places, especially when I was like Disneyland, I was like, man, that would be kind of funny if you can just like put I have an Iron Giant toy now, but I was like, wouldn't it be cool if he was like peeking over the castle, like in a photo? So then I was like, there has to be somebody out there that does toy photography. And I discovered the, Johnny Woo and Mitchell Woo and Isaiah, which is a Black Series on Instagram. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually, and then yourself too. And I was like, oh, wow, there's actually a world of like this, of telling stories with action figures and really making them like seem real. And then that's when I really got into it. And that's what I've been doing ever since then.
That's so cool. I love how basically a trip to Disney World that almost got you the toy photography itch.
Yeah, it was like it's been a niche. Like the toy photography niche also just allows like your ideas to be put into reality, which is really cool, and I really like that. And just the storytelling aspect, like we all have a story to tell, and it's really cool that we can do it and take a photo of it. So
awesome. That's so cool. And you have, I think, a unique kind of origin story of toy photography, where you started as a photographer first before to toy photography.
Yeah, so cool. It's like, yeah, and it's kind of not, and it's been really easy. Just at least the toy aspect, not toy, but the camera side of it, like the technicality and stuff. It's been that. I mean, that's been really easy for me too. But the scaling of figures and stuff, they're not humans. But that's been the challenging thing. And I know I've talked to you before too, where it's like I can't do like explosions where I'm at, which is kind of like bugs me a lot that I can't really add that. So I do turn to Photoshop a lot. And
which you do brilliantly.
No, thank you.
So amazing.
And I kind of use use that. So I'm more, for me, I'm more in a studio aspect when it comes to toy photography. A lot of my stuff's done indoors, and then I do stuff in Photoshop to just complete the photo.
Yeah, you have some like fantastic just like knowledge and comfortableness in the Photoshop world. Where did you learn your like? Did you just teach yourself Photoshop, or did you just like?
There's I don't know. I think there's a couple people within the community that follow him. I don't know if anybody's familiar with. There's a photographer. His name's Felix Hernandez. Um, and his stuff is kind of like similar what I've been wanting to do, and he inspires me a lot lately. And just the stuff that he does in Photoshop is crazy. And how he seamlessly incorporates his dioramas within Photoshop is crazy. So
Cool. I'm not familiar with
I've
him.
been, yeah, you're not familiar with him?
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I was gonna, yeah, like his style of shooting is crazy, and he scales like it. You can look at it and be like, wow, that's actually just a scale model of a car. Like he did like a Ghostbusters um like series of photos, and I thought it was the actual car, but it turns out it was just like a
Dang,
1/18th scale of a car, and I was like, oh wow,
that's
that's pretty
incredible.
crazy. So but yeah, and then most of that stuff's just kind of like self-taught, and also like doing portraits and things like that. That's helped me just kind of translate that into
Yeah.
toy photography. So
Oh, that's so cool. And so this is when when you were talking about using effects in Photoshop, and I said, and you do it brilliantly. In my head, I was thinking of this shot because
oh yeah, yeah,
this is I honestly I can't I don't think I've ever seen a better like explosion whatever just done like this. I think this is completely digital, right? This shot,
yeah. No, yeah, minus I did take that one outside,
right?
but everything else, like, it's literally, if you look at the raw file, it's just him standing there. Like all the weathering, all like the flames, the blaster bolt, everything, all that's photoshopped afterwards. So
And so the explosions themselves look really awesome and
oh, thank you. Yeah,
super.
that's the one thing I've been working on. It's not like perfect, but I was like,
It looks great,
but I'm getting better. Yeah.
and it fits well with everything. But one of the thing I think that makes it so convincing is the way it's still like interacting with the figure with Wolf. Like you can see the lighting and everything on him, like as if the
Yeah.
explosion is reflecting onto him, and that makes it so convincing.
Yeah, that was the light painting that I did with for that, and I think actually I do have I think I have a YouTube video of me editing that photo.
You
I
do.
think
Yes, you do.
like
What do you mean you think you do? You do. Um, oh hey, Dwayne Shoots Toys is in here. Hey man, thanks for popping in. Um, but so I'm gonna get to this a little bit sooner, but a little bit later as well. But I do just want to give a shout. So Brent has a YouTube channel, and it's really awesome. So anyone who follows me on YouTube, like, go here, subscribe to him, and he like makes a ton of tutorials about really good stuff that like I have watched a lot of these and I have learned something, and they're incredibly well made and easy to follow, and they're about like relevant things that are good to learn, like right here.
yeah, there it is. Yeah,
Here it is.
that was before I realized how to make thumbnails. Like my thumbnail game was definitely, I was experimenting with a lot of stuff on my first like couple videos.
Still, and you know,
So
I do really appreciate, and this is something I've learned with YouTube as well, is like it helps to not only make, yeah, the thumbnails are really important, but it's also I think really important to have consistent thumbnails. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah, it's
you have that. So now anyone scrolling in their subscription and you see this thumbnail, they're gonna know it's yours because they're just used to
yeah,
the way your
yeah.
thumbnails look.
Yeah, I finally locked into a style that I liked, and it fits the photos really well. I mean, some of them get cropped and stuff every now and then, but yeah, it took me a couple weeks to figure all that out.
It took me like years, so if I don't even know if I do have it figured out. But yeah, make sure you are subscribed to his YouTube channel. And YouTube now has this really cool thing where you can like tag people's YouTube channels in the video. So in this video, literally in the title of the video, if you're watching it right now, his YouTube channel is tagged right there in blue, Brent England Photography, right there. So just go and subscribe right now. Subscribe, and then while you're doing that, just like this video too, and the more people that like the video, the more people will watch it, and then the more people will go over to Brent's thing, and we can get him to, he's got 162 subscribers. This should be like way 100 times more than that, or 1,000. Just yes, please go and subscribe to his channel for sure. So yeah. Toys are life in the live
Yeah,
chat.
they just said.
Yeah, it says refresh. All right, I'm gonna refresh it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's that's really cool because
hopefully
sometimes I wake up in the morning, I check that, everyone like checks when they made a post on Instagram or something. They're like, oh, okay, how many likes did I get? Or you always check it after. That's why I'm like, oh, how many subscribers did I get?
Yes, well, I hope lots more for sure. So you started as a. So if you just scroll back on your Instagram,
if you scroll,
you're gonna see some of the just a lot of ones I want to talk about. But I just think it's really cool how so this is about more. I mean, you were doing toy photography at the time of this, but this was seems like it was before you basically kind of took the leap and full time became toy photographer. I mean, I know you're doing others.
It took me a while. I was kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of situation. I like did all types of photography, and for me, I would always jump like one or another. I would be like, ooh, cool landscape, ooh, that's cool. I'm like, oh, wildlife, that's cool. But then I was like, I never really stuck with anything for a while. But I mean, I always did photography, and Disney. I just love Disneyland and everything, and how photogenic it is already. That I was still able to do that, and I'm like, man, I really want to. And Disney's huge on the storytelling and everything like that. And I just wanted to be able to find a photography niche that allowed me to also do that and tell the stories that are in my head, and and put them out there. So, and that's when I found toy photography, and that's why I've been doing that. But I still take Disney photos and stuff. I was just recently at Disney World last month, at the beginning of last month, and took a lot of photos there too. So
awesome. So you are from Florida?
No, I'm from California. Well, I'm actually originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
But and then moved to California. But I'm 100%. I know it's really hard because sometimes if you live on the East Coast and you see something Disney, it's like, oh, that's Disney World. Now it's like, no, it's Disneyland. And then if you're on the West Coast, so it's like a mistake. Yeah, it was like, oh, you live in Florida. I was like, no, California.
So it's only like 5 p.m. right now for you.
Yeah.
Is it still bright outside?
No, daylight savings time. It's dark.
I hate daylight savings time so much.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm a huge night photographer, so I love daylight savings time. So.
Well, perfect. It's good for explosions, but I know. Sorry, never mind. But this shot is so cool. Like when I saw this, like I was scrolling, I was like, okay, it says on his Instagram, it says Disney photographers. Is this like what he does? Does he like shoot Disney stuff in Disney World and stuff for a living? Like, cause this is fantastic. Like this looks like an ad.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, that's just on the ride. Rise of Resistance. There's a big like a ship you go in. Spoilers. I don't want spoilers. You see, I believe that's Beck. I think Commander Beck. I think is his name. But yeah, you can. It's an animatronic actually. It's a really great animatronic, and wow. I just got really close to it and took the photo. So
I've never been to any Disney park ever, I never had the desire to so much, just because even though I'm sure it's amazing, but now that there's Galaxy's Edge, now I just want to so bad, and I've still never gone. And I need to.
Oh man, no, you got to now. Now that they have, Disneyland, we have Mandalorian now, Boba Fett,
I want to meet Mando, and I want to meet little Grogu.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a ton of shots in here. I just want to like highlight and talk about. Okay, so this one, I really like this one.
Yeah, that was for that egg challenge. That was I had like that was. I was I know that's still one of my one of my wife's favorite photos because she's a huge
really?
Nightmare Before Christmas fan. So, and that's actually her figure there that she has them on a shelf, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool
He must
to.
be small.
Yeah, he is. He's like probably equivalent to like a vintage like
Oh,
three and
okay.
three quarter inch. He's probably that size. I know there's a 6 inch version or a 1/12 scale version of him,
Yeah.
but that's just like a little. That's just like a little shelf figure that I took, and I just thought I was like, oh, that'd be funny, like if Jack stole Easter instead of Christmas.
I've always thought they would do like
So
a sequel or something, because you can see it on the tree. But I'm glad they haven't. Um,
yeah.
so this is. Did you make this little like with the windows and everything, like the?
Yeah, yeah. I because like Tim Burton has that style, like it's like that was just like poster board or like the foam board that you get at like the Dollar Tree or 99-cent store, and I just spray painted it black and I cut the windows out with just like a razor blade and then
Worked
just
perfect.
stuck them, taped them. The floor, I actually did the floor with like a texture paint, and
Oh,
it's just the
okay.
pink foam, and I took a heated foam pen, um, and I or the pen that like heats up and you
Yep.
can like carve out of the foam, and I did that, and then I spray painted it.
Oh, it looks so good. It really looks great. Um,
Oh, thank you.
so yeah,
Yeah,
and the lighting is fantastic in the shot.
yeah, and then the rest of the stuff is just little scale items that I found at Michael's. Or, yeah, Michael's.
Yeah, I
They
love
have like
looking at
a
that stuff.
dollhouse section.
Yeah, I
So
love looking at that stuff. Um,
yeah,
so actually,
and it's actually.
sorry, I was gonna almost change the
Oh no,
topic.
I was gonna say just one more thing on the diorama. Like I don't know if anybody else follows him or insightful imagery gave me a lot of tips on this when I built this.
Yeah,
I was
he's.
bugging him. I was bugging him a lot, and I was like even in messaging him, I was like, "Hey man, sorry to bug you again, but
I'm sure he was more than happy to give you all the information
oh yeah, no,
possible. He's great.
he was a really good
He's
guy.
great.
Yeah, he's helped me a lot with the whole diorama thing because that was a whole new world when I got into toy photography. I was like, I don't even know how to build a diorama. Like,
Yeah, he's amazing at what he does. Oops. Um, so actually, in the live chat, Lawrence has a question that I thought was actually pretty cool. He says, "Brent, do you take toy photos at Disney when you visit?" Also.
I haven't yet. I know my friend Alex slash Toys and Diz on Instagram. He did a shot where he took his Flick figure and put him in the flower bed for one of the Sirdork challenges. But I haven't yet, and I've been
Awesome.
wanting to. Because if anybody's like familiar with force perspective, you can make your
Yeah.
toy look like it's in that whole scene, and I've been really curious, but I have to find a way to do it because I can't necessarily bring a table into Disneyland, and there's you could get a tripod in there, but they're like still worry of tripods and still kind of hectic to get one in. You can always get one in, but it's still just a pain to go through security and
Right.
stuff.
That makes sense.
So
That would be so cool. I think you would do like just trying to incorporate some type of iconic like building or something into like that. That would just be so cool. I think you would do fantastic with that. I can see
no,
the gears going in your head right now. You're like,
thank you.
yeah, okay. But this shot is so cool. I remember coming across this one on my feed.
Oh yeah, the Zeros one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is so cool. Like, it's so original, and it's just clever and it's funny and it's just like, I don't know. Just were you just like eating Cheerios one day and you got the new Zero figure and you're like,
I think this is fun because I had a conversation with you. That's why about like getting into like brands. Like I was like, how do you work with like different people? And then it was that I think that's the advice that he gave me was like, oh, if you have anything like a cereal or a soda or something that you like, and then just do a photo with it. And so that's how that one really came to be, was that one.
and did you tag Cheerios in it?
I did, but they didn't. They don't accept tags in their
Ah,
on their Instagram. So
Cheerios, come on.
yeah. So
Well, that's perfect because the theme that for next month in December is brand. Just like add
oh, cool.
basically exactly what you did. Put a brand in the picture somehow, tag them, and maybe they'll notice. And my goal and my dream is that like anyone who joins the challenge, we get like a bunch of different I don't know, like reactions from the brands, and we could even see them during the
Yeah.
stream. Like that would be so cool. Then who knows? Maybe somebody will get a deal. Get a gig.
Yeah, that would be really
Ah,
cool
that's like
actually. Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping for. But I really love this shot. I think it's so funny.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
it's just well done. It's just really well done. Did you use like these like for
Yeah.
the swipes?
All that's Photoshop. There's a paintbrush.
Right, that's okay.
In Photoshop that you could use that simulates like a paintbrush, and so I just use that. It was really simple. The Cheerio box is just a JPEG, like a high-res JPEG that I was able to find, and then the piece of paper and stuff. You could use like stock photos on like Adobe Stock
Mhm.
or any like stock website, like torn paper, and I was able to just mask the O, and then I just took a real simple photo. It was literally just like one light, and I just took the photo of zero there, and then everything else just like I just put everything else in Photoshop after that. So
Awesome. It's like so simple, but just like perfect. Yeah, I really love this. I love this a lot. And there's so many.
yeah,
This one was this one like your profile picture or something for a while? Why does I feel like this
I
shot
think
looks so familiar to me.
I don't know. I didn't have it on profile. I may have had it somewhere either like on my website or
Yeah,
I think I may have had it as a banner for a while too.
maybe that was it.
But yeah, I play the actual X-Wings miniature game.
Oh, that's what this
and
is.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah, and I was like, man, I really want to like take some cool photos. And I know Isaiah Black Series, he does a lot of photos with the X-Wing miniatures too. So I was like, man, how does he do it? And then I was just like looking at a lot of his stuff, and then I just kind of pieced it together. So but a lot of my stuff, like I've been kind of redoing a lot of my stuff too, just because of all the skills that I've been developing over the course of the years and stuff. And yeah, that's another X-Wing miniature right there too, as well.
Yeah, this one's really cool. Is this like a stock photo that you had, or?
Oh no, that's all me in Photoshop.
This
on that one.
entire thing?
Yeah,
Like you even made
yeah.
the.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's pieces of stock. Let me go back. Let me rewind. It's pieces of stock photos. Kind of like similar to like clip art, I guess. And I took pieces of stock photos, and I used that to make the environment, such as the cave and everything like this. And from there, I used brushes and everything like that to get like the lighting and stuff down too. So it's all Photoshop, but it's still like kind of like stock photos that I just took like what I liked from the stock photo, and then I made an image. So that's like probably like 7 different images in that photo.
Wow, that's so cool. Like it really looks like it was just like you had a photo and you combine like.
Yeah, I had it in my head where I was like, man, what would Boba Fett be doing if he was just chilling, like waiting for a bounty? Like, does he have a cave? Does he have a lair? I don't know.
The Boba cave.
So I just like made one, and then
that's so impressive.
Yeah.
Artistic Toaster in the live chat says, "Bro, this guy's lighting is insane. I'm in love with these rays." Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely meticulous once you get into Photoshop. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Same concept. With on this one too. It's the whole thing's Photoshop, but I use like stock images and stuff like that to make the scene. And then I just incorporate the toy in there and just match the lighting and everything.
Cool. That's awesome. That's so cool. There's one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's Buzz getting abducted. Yeah, like it's just that's why I've enjoyed toy photography so much, is just being able to like tell the stories like in your head, like
right.
The one we just saw with like Darth Vader, like what would it look like? I mean, we all seen it, but it's kind of like allows you to be like, what would it look to you, and you can kind of just change the story a little.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about scrolling through your page. Every photo you have, there's like a completely new and different story being told.
Yeah,
like different from from the last, like it just like this one's so freaking cool.
Oh yeah, that was just the TIE Fighter miniatures, and then a Bo-Katan figure, and then I just created the environment in Photoshop.
So when you shoot the TIE fighters or Bo-Katan, like, are you shooting them on like a white backdrop or something? Like, how do you?
Yeah, well, for this one, I mean, now I do. Before, but for this photo, I was literally just hand holding everything. Like,
Oh, really? Like you were
yeah,
holding Bo?
yeah, I was just
Ah,
holding it. Like, I would just go outside and be like, okay, let me see if I can match the lighting by just using the sun, and I just hold it, and then I just have to meticulously go into Photoshop after.
that's so cool. Well, I mean, it worked
Like,
great.
yeah. But
Um,
yeah, but now I I kind of have like the little stands now, and I've learned to kind of be able to like match the lighting inside, so I don't have to go outside all the time.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's, yeah. As much as I love
Oh
shooting
yeah,
outside, sometimes it's tough having to
oh
rely on.
yeah, in chat right there, Linda was saying like, yeah, I've used yeah, I don't want to butcher his name. It's like Namanje, or I know he says it on all of his videos, but yeah, I've learned a lot of stuff from him. If anybody goes and checks out his
Cool.
videos,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
if you're looking for like compositing and stuff like that, he does a lot. So
Cool. Yeah, I've had to try a little bit of that more recently with compositing, and yeah, it's a whole new ball game. It's hard. It's really hard. So when you do it, like for this one, for instance, do you have the idea in your head, and then you find the photo, and then you try to match the lighting with that photo? Is that kind of how the process will go?
yeah, I kind of just I sometimes like on my little like notepad, like I have like a little notepad that has like all of my stuff when I think of things, and I just kind of like sketch it out initially, and then I kind of literally like I think for my most recent shot with the snow troopers that I did for like that little redo. I didn't submit it into your um
Into the thingy? This one?
I didn't submit it, but for that, like, so all the foreground and stuff I did in real time, so it's like all real rocks and everything like that. But in my head, I'm trying to figure out a background, and I'm looking at photos, like stock images, and I'm just trying to figure out like which ones I want after I've kind of sketched out an idea. And I think it took me like 20 pages of scrolling to find just the background for that photo. Like, and everything like that. So, but like, yeah, it's like the AT-AT's leg is a separate photo, and the background is a separate
Okay.
photo. But then,
Man, that's
um,
convincing.
yeah, and it's funny with for everyone that follows Felix Hernandez. And then also, oh yeah, I'm about to go. Yeah, Toy Immersion was asking, Brent, do you use Photoshop exclusively? I use Lightroom, Photoshop, and then for this photo, I've been using for some of my color grading, I've been using Color FX Pro and Analog Pro. If anyone's familiar with the Photoshop world, those are plugins that you can use. But for this one, I actually I shot this in in my little indoor studio slash office slash reading room slash everything else, and and I actually shot this using my 24-70. And if anyone's familiar with Felix Hernandez, who shoots wide, wide doesn't really shoot with a macro lens. He does have one, but he doesn't really use that much. I actually shot this at f/22. So if you guys are looking to
Dang.
blend to blend your stuff, like I know there was a question like, how do you blend yourself so well? Well, in stock images as well as backgrounds, the depth of field is so great that you have to try to match that in camera, whether via focus stacking or using a real high aperture like
Right.
f/22. So this photo, I took it around like 28 millimeters, and I shot it at f/22 and used a speed light or a strobe. Actually, used one of my strobes,
Okay.
and yeah, took the photo from there. And then, but that's a really easy way if anyone's trying to like replace backgrounds and stuff, is shooting at a high aperture. It does take a lot of like light power,
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. F22, and you're better off stacking them. Yeah, I understand that one too. Yeah. You could do focus stacking, which I do also do a lot too. But then it is also like less editing though. With focus stacking, you have to keep everything on a tripod and everything standing still. So I just found an easy way, like shooting at F22 has just been a little bit easier for me. Just to that way I can just usually snap one photo. But if not everything is in focus, then I'll snap another photo at a different focusing distance.
That's so much. That's so cool. And
Yeah, that was a lot of information. Sorry, everybody. Like,
that's just this is amazing. And so Toy Stories in live chat sends over super chat. Thanks so much, dude. You're amazing. And I know you kind of touched on it. He says, "Hey Brent, how do you blend digital backgrounds and other effects so well?"
That was the.
So yeah, I guess most of the time, like it's when you're grabbing, and this is. Maybe, correct me if I'm wrong. Like when you're grabbing a background to use, I'm sure most like that photo you're using has so much in it, and if your subject it has you're using a lower f-stop, it's going to be difficult for that to blend so much with the background. It's just like it's gotta it's if you really want it to match
it's just it keeps everything sharp because everything in like a background image is also very sharp.
Right.
So if you're shooting at like f2.8 or f4 or f5.6, and also even if you're using a macro lens, the confusing part about using a macro lens is the magnification, that the focusing is so on point that you may think everything is in focus, but you can actually miss focus in certain areas. But that one point is really sharp, hence why the focus stacking. But yeah, to answer everybody, like I see everybody's like talking about aperture. Yeah, high aperture closes it. It's like you have open and closed. So an open aperture is like a smaller f number. So f2.8 is a more open, like you're shooting wide open. F22 is closed. So
which is weird. You would think it's the other way around.
You would think it's the other way around, but just to answer what everybody was, that was a lot of people are talking about that in chat was, but yeah. So and so even a macro lens can kind of mess that up, but that's why focus stacking, you could do that as well too, if you don't mind changing the focus points. I know a lot of cameras today, mine has it where you can do the focus stacking automatically, which is great.
What?
But I know but I know in some cameras you have to do it manually, and that's the tricky part. That's the time consuming part, is changing your focusing.
Well, if you're interested in focus stacking, there's a couple pretty great tutorials here on Brent's YouTube channel. You got a part 1 and a part 2.
Yeah, because there's the part 1 is about the actual shooting, and then the part 2 is the editing, because it's like it could be it would have been a long video if I did all of it together. So
and if you're still extra curious about this shot specifically,
he's
got the video for it right here.
Yeah.
So it's you definitely have to make sure you're subscribed for sure. You can even see I started this one a while back and I hadn't finished it yet.
It's just like, and that's the type of photography I kind of like doing now, is doing that kind of stuff. Because I know even one of my photographer friends, he wants to buy a macro lens, but it's kind of like I kind of want to, as I was talking to you earlier before we started the stream, that you don't necessarily need a macro lens to do toy photography. You can do it with like your kit lens 24-70, and it's okay to shoot at f24 or not f24 focal length. You shoot at like 24 millimeter, 28, 35, and you can still just with a little bit of Photoshop and stuff like that, you can make a scene that you want to make, and you don't necessarily need to be buying all of that gear for toy photography.
Absolutely. Yes. I hope everyone can know that, and just like there's always just sometimes like a wow, I'm doing a really bad job.
Misconception
Yes,
misconception
of
of
that you like if you want to do this, you just got to get a good lens and pay it. And
yeah.
it's just and it's so absolutely not true. And I think for the most part, some people do get that, but still, just the way you're basically just proving it right now is just it's amazing. So, um, yeah,
iPhone camera, gang rise up.
yeah, heck, that's a perfect.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
there are like amazing directors that have made movies with iPhones. Like, I'm pretty sure Zack Snyder made a short film with an iPhone before, and I'm sure
yeah.
Tim
And then even the iPhone commercials are all shot with an iPhone too these
right.
days. So
Yes. So and look I love this shot. And this was just like
oh, that one, yeah. The
instantly. I was like, this is the thumbnail. This is the thumbnail for today.
I thought that was kind of funny. That like I saw that in a photo, just a fortune cookie that said those were the droids you're looking for in a photo. And I was like, man, that'd be funny if you just added some stormtroopers to it. Like they were like,
Ah,
oh, like we knew it. We knew it. So that was
I
the
I really love the posing in this photo. So like, not only were like, there's so much expression going on with both of these guys. So the one guy, he's so like, dude, like, I can't believe this thing. And,
yeah.
he's got his hand on his shoulder. I love the fact he's got his hand on his shoulder, and he's like, listen, he's like, dude, just relax. It's all right. It's like it's just like, there's so much to look at in this, just like with these couple of
Yeah,
dudes.
that's a lot of the other photos I'm doing too. Is just kind of like more like interpretation, like not necessarily like a full blown scene. I'm just kind of like, let me do a clean background, just the toy itself, and see how of an in depth story I can make with the toys, without having to use like not saying explosions are bad or anything like that, or action's bad. Like, stop doing action photos. I just wanted to see like how clean can I get an image and tell a great, like,
Yeah,
how far can I make the
absolutely.
story.
A
So
million billion percent. Yeah, there's never any explanation needed for what you want to do, you know? And I absolutely love it. And just there's like this. I love this one.
yeah.
This is so good. So with Buzz, did you have him propped up on
Yeah,
something?
I had a wire. I used the 14 gauge wire, and then I wrapped it because he's a top heavy figure, so I had to like intertwine them, and and then I just used a little like folding table, like those TV tray folding tables, and I clamped him to that the wire, and then that kept him like in that pose that he's doing. Uh,
Yeah, it's
but it was
perfect.
really, it was really hard. It took me like a half hour just to figure out how to keep him still. And then I was like, okay, let me snap the photos now before he falls over. So
And so the little light rays here is
yeah,
this.
that one I just did that in Photoshop, and
So good.
I used my, like, I have an 11-inch moonlight, and I just put the lighting there, but I kind of want to create a little bit of an atmosphere, so I put the light ray in there to kind of give it depth and stuff. So
So much. It's such a nice, and it's very subtle too. You know, it's like if I were doing a light ray, I'm like, I want this light ray to be the main part of the photo, but it's just like the perfect
yeah,
subtle. It's just like,
yeah,
and it really does add to the photo for sure. And it makes it feel real. It makes it feel like these are toys literally on the table, and the window's right over here or whatever.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah. And that one I kind of just wanted to make it look like a toy. So
yeah, um, yeah. So awesome. There's so much to go over here. Oh, okay. So this is one something I really want to talk about. So
yeah,
you had a little table at Ontario
yeah. It was
Convention Center.
Yeah, it was an off market mouse. I did it with my friend Toys and Diz right there, and that's why, like, as you know, with me and you talking, like, we were, trying to sell like our prints, and we were just like, looking at conventions, and this was like a local one because you've suggested like look at local convention centers or like local markets,
Yeah.
and I've been in, and that's where this was, and we kind of just like tested the theory, in like full transparency, the convention we went at wasn't totally well marketed, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
So
So
not
there
a lot of
was
not a lot
nobody
of
there.
foot traffic, but
Ah,
yeah. So I kind of changed. We changed like venues a little bit, and there's a nice local market that happens every month.
oh,
It's kind of
really?
like 20 minutes away. Yeah. Um, and we go there every month now. We've been going there since October, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We sell our Disney photos and our toy stuff as
That's
well.
so cool.
So
So you've been doing that every month since then, and so you're kind of like a
yeah,
staple guy there. That's so
yeah.
cool.
So I'm just trying to, yeah, like you said, just trying to just do the local. And I think sometimes like I was like, I've been trying to grow my career like with photography, and at first I was looking at it probably too big. And I was like, man, I think I probably should just start local, start small and just work my way up from there. So,
That is so cool. And Alex in the live chat says
oh yeah, there he is.
we don't talk about that
We yeah,
convention.
we don't talk about it. That's why every time we talk about it, we're like, we don't talk about that one.
So the
We don't talk
experience
about
at
it.
at this convention was, I mean, I'm sure you guys probably had a good
We
time. Just
yeah, it was a great learning experience for sure. Like we learned a lot, and everything like that, and um, but now we've been just getting better, and so and our people are buying our photos, and that's great. So um, that's the whole point of not necessarily selling, but just getting the art, getting the artwork out there.
yeah.
So
Did you have any cool, like at least a couple little cool interactions with some people? I'm sure some
yeah,
people came over
yeah.
and like, what is
Oh
this?
yeah.
These are
Yeah, you get the
toys?
classic. Yeah, you get the classic. Wow, this is a toy, and
Cool.
you, you get a lot of the funny ones too. They're like, well, these are cool, but I don't like Star Wars. Like
Nah.
that was a funny one that happened. So it's kind of that was like that makes the conversation completely awkward after that. But they still love the images. It was just kind of funny that they were just like, well, I don't like Star Wars though. So
That's true. And now that I'm looking, it's like for the most part, it's pretty much almost all Star Wars. Star Wars and just
yeah,
like Disney.
yeah, I
We
grew
got
up.
Ant Man.
Yeah, I got Ant Man.
This is
I've
awesome.
been wanting to do a lot of Ant Man stuff, and but the whole like the phasing and stuff. And I did actually a tutorial on that too. If anybody has any Ant Man figures and they wanted to,
Here it is.
there it is. Yeah, right there. If anyone wants
Awesome.
to do the phase when he goes bigger or smaller and everything like that. So
So about the YouTube channel, um, I'm super curious about because it took me when I started when I took me like I had it going in my head for like I would love to do like a video about Toy and like I never thought about a whole channel and then it turned in and it's just like being in front of the camera was really weird and it's like tell me about that
mm,
whole process like what how do you why'd you start it like
well,
what were you thinking was it tough to talk in front of the camera like
well, as I was talking before the stream started, I used to do Twitch streaming a lot too. They never got really any big, but so being camera shy wasn't really a big thing. It was just um, like I'm when it comes to photography, like I could talk to photography all day. When it comes to making videos, though, that's a whole other situation there. Like the editing and all that stuff is just like, man, oh, you got to color grade it too? Like what? It's not just good out of the camera. And I'm like, there's a whole other editing, sound, all that stuff,
oh
and
wow
the technicality. I'm just like, I was just kind of overwhelmed. But I did try blogging first, so I made blog posts, and but then and that's to get my information because I kind of just I just love teaching people about photography, and I love talking about it. And I believe that like everybody is a photographer, that anyone that takes a photo is a photographer. There's not like, oh, I'm a professional photographer or anything like that. It's like you take photos, you're a photographer. And
yeah
and I kind of just want to show that it's not as intimidating as it's made out to be. Like it's back then when you were using like film, and you had rules like the Sunny 16 rule, if anybody's familiar with film out there. um like it's technically intimidating, and that's how I felt with videos. So I was really
so
hesitant
much
to make the YouTube channel. I was like, man, I don't know nothing about making videos, and I still don't really know anything. I'm still doing them I actually just do them on my phone. I don't even use my camera. I could, but I don't know a lot about the video files and everything like that.
yeah
So
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like getting the YouTube channel started, I just really wanted to just share what I've learned over the years with everybody else, and that I just want like everybody to get the most out of their photography, because photography in itself is, even if you do it as a hobby, it's expensive, like just growing in it,
Sure.
and it's like I just want to have people get the most out of it, like what they how I've gotten out of it, and I just want to have make sure everyone can you know learn everything there is out there and
Yeah,
stuff. So.
and especially with toy photography, because it's such an amazing, awesome thing, and there's not a whole lot of like specifically toy photography kinds of stuff
Yeah,
to learn
there's
from.
yeah, there's not, even if you Google like toy photography, you get a lot of blog posts about it, and there's like I think there's a couple of online courses out there that talk
Whoa.
about it. Yeah, there is. If anyone's familiar with Scott Kelby, has a huge photography education website, has courses for everything, and there's actually a toy photography course on there.
Oh, cool.
Actually, yeah.
That's
So
cool. Awesome. Well, I hope a lot of people have watched it and then Google toy photography tutorial, and then they pull up your YouTube channel. So yeah, there's just so much good stuff on here, and you've been like super active on it, and like I don't know, I just like I'm also like a big YouTube consumer. Like I use YouTube every day just while I'm working to listen to stuff. I love
yeah,
I just use YouTube probably more than any other thing on my phone. I use YouTube. So and just like I appreciate just like updates and stuff, and using the community tabs, and
yeah, I
just
really like that, because if anyone follows me on Instagram, it's my wife does a lot of the, like, she lets me know when things happen, like on Instagram. She's like, oh, you got a message, or there's someone commented, because I'm so busy, like just like how most everyone else is. It's like YouTube and the photography is not like my full-time job, so it's like I'm also really busy. But it's nice that YouTube offered that to even smaller channels, the community tab, because then I can actually use that over doing a lot of the Instagram posts. So it kind of helps me kind of centralize everything, so I'm not bouncing back and forth so much.
Yeah, it's a really great feature to have. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
being able to updates and stuff. So yeah. Oh, and here. Oh, this is the
yeah,
this is the market.
That's the pop-up booth. Yep, that we do. Yeah, it's the Toontown Market in Fullerton, California.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, that's my booth. That's me and Toys and Diz right there.
Cool. Seems like it's pretty big size. Like I see.
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
3 rows of 4 rows of booths.
Yeah, there's about 65 vendors a month. So
that's so cool. That just sounds fun to go to.
Yeah, and it's all arts and crafts. It's all arts and crafts stuff,
Awesome.
which is kind of cool. So, it's a lot of Disney themed stuff. I do take my Disney photos there, but I've been trying to take more of my toy photography stuff too, as well, just to get more people interested in it.
Yeah. How do you usually do? Like, do you find yourself?
I do pretty well. It's somewhat like every month has been better, which that's just been the goal. Just because I'm also really new to the whole pop-up market and like selling and marketing and things like that. So I just make a goal where it's like I don't try to be perfect at every market. I just try to like see, okay, what could I do better? Presentation wise, just the overall flow of it, and things like that. So I've actually been scouring YouTube also, like all the other artists that are on there, like, oh, how do you do an artist pop up and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So
that's so cool. One thing that one thing that I've kind of noticed with any of these kind of things, that I've never done like a market like this. I've only done like Comic-Cons, but most of the time people kind of will pass by my booth and not realize that it's toy photography. They'll just think they're pictures of like they'll see this picture of Iron Man, and since it's so good, they'll just think it's like a picture of Iron Man, and you're just selling pictures of these characters.
It's so funny that you picked the Iron Man one out of that when you were looking at it. I've gotten so many people think that that's a hot toy.
From here, it looks like it. It's so.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's shiny
yeah. I've
and
had a lot of people that are like, "Oh, where'd you get your hot toy Iron Man?" I'm like, "Oh, that's actually a real person. That one, that's not a toy."
is this shot on here on your Instagram?
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty far down.
It's pretty back there. It
Yeah,
is very. It looks. I mean, from there, it looks like it's a hot toy.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's down there somewhere.
But so what I tried to do to like counteract that, I got a new banner that just says like Sirdork toy photography. So it's like the second you see the booth, you see toy photography, so people can kind of recognize what's going on. And I don't know if that's really helped or not, but that was a common thing with people
Yeah,
walking by. They're just like, "Oh, cool, pictures of Star Wars.
yeah.
Let's move on." And so which is fine, but like that is something that I noticed. Like people don't instantly get that connection. Like, oh, these are actually photos of little toys.
Oh, I guess I didn't post it on there. I guess I didn't post it on Instagram. Well, that's embarrassing. We scrolled through the entire feed.
Well, we saw all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But that's so cool, and I'm just happy for you. That's such an awesome thing.
Yeah, and like the community on here and just the toy community, like you and stuff, you've helped me a lot. Like I've always messaged you about the booth and stuff all the time.
I'm so glad.
And then you made videos and stuff about it too. But that yeah, it's been great. So and
So
it's
cool.
definitely like, and I'm just trying to just get like I said, just get the most out of it, and kind of like hopefully my goal is to move away from my other full-time job and just be able to do photography.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you will. I mean, especially with the range and understanding of of so many different aspects. It's not just toys or just so many different things. And did you see in the live chat, Toy Immersion said he's going to come down from LA to
Oh
check your
yeah,
spot next time?
yeah. I
Yeah.
just recently followed him on Instagram, and I was like, oh, he's in South. Yeah, I was like, and I kind of I watched that last interview with him, and then I was like, oh wow, he's just like right there too. I was like, I can't believe I overlooked his Instagram and everything, and I was like, so I went and followed him, and I was just like, oh yeah, he's right there.
Sweet.
So
So cool. So what I'm gonna do, what I usually will do for this is I'll have like people from Instagram ask questions, whatever. But I don't have Instagram, so what I'm gonna do, because YouTube has this new Q&A feature, I'm gonna put in the live chat right now.
mhm.
Ask Brent a question. So you guys, everyone who's watching right now, first of all, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please click on the little blue thingy at the top of the live chat and ask him a question. And then what'll happen is I'll click on your question, it'll show up at the top of the feed, and Brent will answer. So I did try this kind of Q&A thing once before, and it worked out pretty cool. But
I was like, oh, Stegosaurus. Oh, what is it? Stegosaurus? Oh yeah, Corona. I'm right there. I'm right in Ontario, California. You're like down the street.
oh, that's cool. And you know what? Wow, when I heard Ontario in my head, I was like, oh, Ontario, Canada. And I was like, wait,
Yeah.
California. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Sometimes with California, it's like sometimes the cities. There's big cities within big cities.
Yeah.
Like you have like, I used to live in Fontana, and then a lot of people are like Fontana, and I'm like Rancho Cucamonga, and they're like Rancho Cucamonga. I'm like Ontario. They're like no, and I was like I just keep hitting each city until I get one like okay LA, and they're like oh yeah Los Angeles, yeah, because I'm only like 40 minutes from LA, so
Oh, cool. I've never been to
like
LA. I've been to San Francisco and around that area a couple times, but that's about it. All right, I'm heading over to the question thing. We got a couple questions. So, Comic Dad, there was in the first question. He says, "What's your favorite figure to shoot?"
that's lately it's been the Diamond Select Stormtroopers, and also just my favorite that's the one from the fortune cookie one, as well as like most of the Stormtroopers.
Oh, What's a
are the
Diamond
Diamond
Select?
Select. Yeah. And it's like I kind of say it's like it's the cheap SH figure arts. Like, because they do get interchangeable hands. You get different blasters and stuff with
Yeah,
them.
I've been super curious
Yeah.
about those.
Yeah, and actually, they're a little bit taller than a 6-inch figure. I think they're
Right.
7 inches. And but yeah, those have been my. They just look so great on camera, and the detail on them, and the fact that you can change the hands. Like they have ones that point. They have the open palm, closed
Yeah.
fist, and they actually come with like the blaster, like just a blaster like gun, and then they come with like the rifle, and then they also come with like the big long rifle too. Comes with a lot of accessories, and I was actually able to find them at an outlet um location. There's like a Disney like outlet store way out
Yeah.
um past the City of Industry, but I forgot exactly where. But I was able to get them for like $19. Like
All right. It's cheaper than a
so, but
Hasbro
those
figure now.
yeah, so those have been my favorite ones to shoot with lately.
That's so cool. It's
I'm just
interesting.
ashamed that Diamond Select hasn't made more of them. I was like, they haven't made like different types of Star Wars figures. It's really just, I think they did Chewbacca,
Chewbacca
Boba
and I think
Fett,
Boba Fett and Darth Maul, right?
yeah, yeah, Darth Maul, and then the Stormtroopers.
That's so interesting.
So,
I've never like I've been super curious about these figures since they've been putting them out, and I just haven't really heard anybody using them. And I've seen them because it
mhm.
seems like the Disney, like any Disney store or anything like that, they will only sell the Diamond Select stuff now. They used to sell like Black Series, but they're like, nah, we're gonna stick with Diamond Select. So I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, that
That's
was yeah,
super
I was
interesting.
yeah, and I'm like every time I'm like man, and I was like every time I get them, I was like every time I use them, I'm like man, I can't believe like Diamond Select didn't make more like of these toys. Like,
Well, maybe they will. Maybe they will.
so
Maybe we'll get some. There's not. We don't have any. No human figures yet. It's all either helmeted figures or something. You know, the like Darth Maul. So that's really interesting.
mm,
Cool. Great. Great answer to the question. So thanks, Comic Dad, for sending it in. So actually, Artistic Toaster. I'm gonna go right to his question because he says,
oh,
"We'll
yeah,
ask this before I head out. What do you do when you run into an idea block?"
um I've made a as far as like the idea block is I just try to find I try to just immerse myself into things that inspire me. Um Even with like toy photography, it's like as much like I love toys. Like I found like I went to TJ Maxx and I found like the old Beast War guys
Cool.
from like this isn't like the new one. This is like the original like that came out a while back.
No way. That's
Um,
awesome.
but I try to just surround myself and make sure that I choose things that inspire me as much as I even like toys now. Like I said, I'm not really a toy collector. I still love toys, but I make sure I choose things that inspire me. So like most of my stuff is Star Wars, just because I love Star Wars when I was a kid. I still love Star Wars now. So I just make sure I surround stuff that just constantly inspires me. So I hope that helps in developing an idea block. Also, I've even just sat at my desk, just staring, and then also reading books. I'm a huge reader,
Oh,
fantasy books and things like that. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of other toy photographers have have said that they use comic books and stuff to get like their scenes, and that's really cool too. But I've I've learned even just reading like fictional books also help you too, kind of helps you like rechange the story a bit too. Because I always make a joke with my wife because we go and see the movies, and then she's like, "Okay, well, how would you have ended that one?" you know, and I changed the whole story of the movie. So
that's
just
really funny.
surrounding it. Yeah, so just surround yourself with stuff that inspires you, and an idea will come
That's
eventually.
interesting too, because a book is not a visual thing. You know, you're basically
Yeah,
creating, the imagery yourself. And so I wonder if that's something that, since you're the one creating the imagery in your head while you're reading, if that actually helps with
yeah,
you creating something visual for your photos. That's really
mhm,
cool.
yeah.
That's super
So
interesting. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Artistic Toaster, and have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. So Frank has a really great question. Um, he says, "Do you have some copyright issues? Do you ever have any copyright issues?"
like
I think he means by like selling.
Oh,
When you're at the market selling stuff.
I kind of want to like. It's kind of like no, it's not like weird to say, but I would say like big companies, even when you're dealing with like Disney and stuff, big companies will care when they want to care. I mean, I don't want to say like no, like don't stop what you're doing just because you're afraid of a big company. It's but one thing that I learned from other photographers, even just in the Disney spectrum, this has nothing to do with toy photography, but if you change, like if you're selling stuff, if you companies when they're searching for things online, as far as like, oh, what's gonna, what kind of like, where's our stuff, who's selling our stuff, they use computer algorithms that's just scanning websites, and if you actually just change the name of the photo that you did, that also helps, I guess, like I don't know, like stay under the radar, I guess.
Yes, definitely.
Like, like you just rename the photo something, because if they say like, oh, that's that, I'm like, well, I didn't say it was that, I said it's this. Yep. But I've learned that from other photographers in the Disney, like when you name like your photo or something like that, just call it something different and you should be okay there. But I mean, I figure with a big company, it's advertising either way for them. So
yeah, like if you were to go, for instance, like on like the store that I have online where I sell like some of my photos as posters and stuff, all of the photo names are all super generic. Like I have a picture of Darth Vader, I'll say the Dark Lord.
Yeah, I think like the Iron Man photo that you're looking at, I think I call him like the tech hero.
There you go.
Like it's not even
exactly.
It's not even like Iron Man, so.
Yeah, or if you're using like, if you want to like try to tag it like Star Wars or something, like just stay away from all of those licensed names that could pop up, and you'll be pretty good. And as far as in my experience, or at least what I'm thinking, as far as selling stuff in person at things, I feel like it's almost impossible for somebody to come in unless you have a Disney spy in there looking for people selling, which I don't think is going to happen. I think you'll be good. And
because there's especially in just the Disney spectrum. I mean, you have people do ears, like they do like all arts and crafts stuff. It's just like and it's actually kind of funny. I've recently learned that certain images actually expire as far as a copyright. Like if a company can choose not to renew like the trademark image,
right,
and then it becomes fair use. And this is just an interest of Disney, because I have a lot of Disney examples, because I'm always like reading about Disney. Is like the steamboat, like one of the Steamboat Willie Mickeys, they didn't renew the copyright image, and you can actually use
domain. I heard that.
You can actually use that. So I mean, you can always just be on the lookout for that if you're ever worried about that kind of stuff too, and just you can figure out that information also.
That's so cool. Yeah, and that's really interesting. And selling things in person, the world is full of people selling art or anything that involves like something that might be licensed, and it's just kind of the way the world goes. But there is always the chance, I would say. There's you're never totally bulletproof. There's always the chance. But I think for the most part, you'll be fine. I think the biggest risk is when you put them online and you put in some term like a title, and the most that could happen is it gets taken down.
Yeah.
So that's a really great question. It's always something I always like enjoy talking about that, because it's
always the in photography in general. It's all who owns the image, who owns.
Right. It's a good topic.
Yeah, it's even in portrait photography. It's photography in general.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Frank, and Steakosaurus. And by the way, if you have any questions, put them up in that click on the little blue thing in the live chat. Would love to talk some whatever you got. All right. Next is from Steakosaurus. He says, what is one kind of Photoshop effect that you find people don't always get quite right? What makes it not quite right? And any tips for making it more right?
Let's see. I Let's do a personal experience on this one. I can never seem to get as much as I like using Atmosphere Aerosol. Sometimes I can't always get it in camera, just because the shutter speed and the how I want the photo to look. Um, the one thing I don't get right is blending the fog in there. Sometimes it looks a little too like pixelated. Um, like even in the Stormtrooper one right there, um, it's like it's there, but it's like you can tell that it's not real.
I
Like
don't think so at all.
oh, okay.
I think that
I overly critique myself all the time, all the
naturally.
time. But as far as that, and then I know masking, where people like, especially replacing here, but like replacing a background, like if you want to insert a sky, those when I first started doing Photoshop, I had a tough time blending that, and I even had a college professor tell me that too. Like it was and I would say just being meticulous about your edges. There we go. Because when you mask something, the edges is really hard and defined in between. So just really take the time to. I know it when you work with Photoshop, it's like a lot of it is time consuming. And I mean, Photoshop's really good at doing stuff automatically for you, but you still have to really go in there, zoom in, and you really have to, if you really want it to get it to look right, like right, you just have to go in there and just fine tune that and soften up the edges, and that really helps blend those. But as far as the sky, that's like the main issue I've always had was replacing a background, because then it's like matching up the horizon and then just killing the hard edges to really blend it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely get that. And I think Toy Immersion agrees. I agree on Atmosphere Aerosol. It either comes in too hot in camera or is not thick enough.
Yeah, and I'll be there in my enclosed area, and you go in and it's just like you see this whole haze, and then you kind of have to turn a fan on if you want to redo it.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I need to get rid of this now so I can shoot this again.
Yeah. That's why I've been kind of debating about getting a little fog machine, because I know those like exist.
Yeah, I've been super curious about that for sure. It's just because it's a different type of, it's thicker and I feel like it's heavy.
Yeah,
and kind of move
you can manipulate it a little bit. You can manipulate it a little bit because you can kind of blow it around as it like swirls around and everything like that. So
yeah, and Comic Dad said he says he gets a nice fog with his vape pen. And
oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that too.
Yeah, and that probably works great.
Yeah.
It probably works really great. And Closet Star Wars Freak says he uses the old Hollywood trick with a cigar.
Oh, and then Stegosaurus, he used a fog machine also. So
awesome. Yeah, that's the beauty of art. There are several different ways to get to a certain certain destination. That's really cool. All right, I think that's all the questions we have. So come on, guys. I know you got stuff spurting around in your heads. Throw it on into the questions thingy, the little blue at the. I got one actually right here that I mentioned. Linda's got something. She says, when you blend your photos, do you first change your photo to a smart object?
Yes. Change when you do anything, because Photoshop is very destructive. And if you do something and you mess up, you'll have to hit Control Z for like the rest of your life to try to go back to the original. But the beauty of making things into a smart object is if it contains all of that, and you can just go and individually edit that out or take it out. If you didn't blend something well, or if you did anything like a crop, any type of, even if you use Camera Raw like for editing, you can just click on a smart object. You can click that effect, and then you can just go and just fine tweak it there, and you don't have to like go all the way back and do stuff. So most of the time I always convert my stuff into a smart object. And then not so much when I do masking though, because masking you can just re-reveal it, if you just switch the colors from black to white and all that kind of stuff, and you can just go back and do that. But when I do editing and color grading and things like that, I convert it into a smart object so that way I can just go back real quick. But yeah, that's a good question though. Yeah, smart object is like definitely you want to do that.
That's huge, yeah, and something I need to do more often because I am super destructive with the way I edit things.
Yeah.
I am told that all the
Yeah,
time.
I've been in that situation where it's like, okay, where was I? And you go Control Z, but you didn't realize you were also brushing at the same time too, and then you got to redo all that also.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely, and I don't know why I didn't pull this shot up before, but this is absolutely beautiful shot.
Yeah, I did that. I know Linda even mentioned his name too, Naman J. He does a lot of like tutorials on YouTube, and this was actually a tutorial he had was developing this little backyard. And I'm a huge fan of Wally and Eve, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna insert Wally and Eve in there. So, and that was the result of that tutorial, like some little Photoshop education there.
That's so cool. So this is actually like basically what he was explaining to do is like this
type
of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. That sounds like I need to look into that more.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, it's a lot of it's time consuming, but I mean, it is a lot of fun, and it's just like crazy where you're just like, oh wow, this is how things are made like that. It's it's all these different elements that come together.
So cool. We got another question from Stako. Stegosaurus says, I tend to often cheat a bit after the fact and blend in some color lookup adjustment layers to give some additional style. Do you have any tips for alternative ways you like to stylize the entire shot?
Using a just like a gradient filter, and just changing the color and the intensity. You can also do that too. You don't always have to like use I've used the color adjustment layer, or what he was referring to. I've used that a lot where it's like you insert what's called like a LUTs, like an LUTS, and you can kind of change that and it changes the overall image for you. But sometimes they may not always, it's basically a LUT is equivalent to a preset, and you can tweak them and stuff like that. So I've used that too before to do a lot of my color grading. But lately, and I've been learning Color FX, has been really fun to use. Stegosaurus, so if you're looking, I'm planning to do a tutorial on it, just because it's something new that I've learned for color grading. And I know a lot of people have asked me what I do for color grading, and before I would just use like a color adjustment layer and things like that, or use a gradient filter to change the overall look.
Tutorial. Definitely, I want one.
Yeah, but the color FX, like I've been using that a lot more lately, and I've been liking that a lot. And you can do a lot more fine-tuned like adjustments, more so than you could if you use just like gradient filters and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Oh.
Yeah, I actually used color effects for the Snow Troopers one.
Oh, sweet. Okay, and there's a tutorial on that. We have a live question.
Mm-hmm. You have to move though.
Really?
I need your space.
Oh, is this gonna be a... Okay, alright. Live question coming.
Oh, I look yellow. I'm not yellow, I'm green. What's your Christmas movie?
Oh, the Santa Claus. Tim Allen.
The only answer is The Grinch.
No,
that's a great movie though. Thank you.
What was it? I couldn't. What was the favorite one?
Tim Allen, Santa Claus.
Oh, that's one of my all-time favorites.
Because it looks yellow on the screen.
No, that's actually one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. I love that movie.
Oh, Linda just had a quick question. Yeah, that's a plugin, Linda. For they actually do offer a free trial too. So once I get my tutorial up on it, color effect, or it's called Nick's Collection. It's like NIK Collection. That's like the main company, and they have all the plugins. But they do offer a 30-day free trial on their website.
Awesome. I'm like legitimately going to be like keeping my eye out for that tutorial because I'll do a little bit of that toward like that's something that I will also do at the end of my editing. I'm like, okay, let me what color do I actually kind of want this to feel or to whatever, and so it's mostly just me messing around in that camera raw filter thing because so much you can do in there.
Oh yeah, it's still a lot.
But it's mostly just me kind of just messing around until I'm like, okay, this I like this.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's like you have to think of it's like there's not a lot of like it's not a recipe out there. You just kind of can mess with it until you like it.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. You just kind of, and I feel like a lot of times people really do feel like there is just like a recipe. Okay, what do I do to make the picture good?
Yeah,
but it's not. Yeah, it's just not that. You gotta mess around with it and find whatever you like, and that will be good.
I didn't know they used to have a free one. That must have been a while back. I guess Color FX used to do a free one. I guess.
Oh, sweet.
I didn't know that. That would have been cool.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on and talking.
Yeah. No, it's been a lot of fun. Like,
I've just learned a lot.
yeah, no, there was a lot of information out there. I mean, that I threw out.
It's true.
It's like,
and that's like exactly what I hope and dream for doing stuff like this is to not only make these fun and relatable but also have there be tons of stuff to learn because everybody's got something to offer to learn from, and you have like a ton of that. And luckily there are quite a few videos. So one last plug: if you're not already subscribed to his YouTube channel, it's literally right in the title of the video is tagged right there. So yes, subscribe to his channel, and also on his Instagram if you're on Insta, if you're not so much using YouTube so much. So at Brent England Photography, that's also tagged and linked in the description of the video. I put all his info right in there. But anything you want to plug or any?
No. I mean, like it said, like I mean, most of my stuff. If like I try to use my website a lot, it's just brentengland.com. Just if anybody's just wanting to look more, I have a lot. I post sometimes photos on there that I don't on my Instagram. On there, but I am going to be doing a lot more of my blog posting that I used to do. We're just kind of going over because I know out there some people, they enjoy a video, but then some people like reading. So I kind of want to just try to make my videos also into blog posts too.
That's really cool.
So people want to read them. But other than that, like I mean, I'm just grateful for all the the collaboration within the toy community. I know when I first got into photography, I always say where I'm like, man, I feel like even with some of the people that teach photography, not this isn't anything like in the toy community, but sometimes I feel like they're like missing the one thing that you want them to say, but then they don't want to say it. Or even sometimes some communities are often like competing with each other. They're just like oh no, follow me, don't follow him. But in the toy community, it's like, oh, everyone just follows each other, and it's really cool. And that's how I was talking to you before, where photography should really be more collaborative, as far as a community goes, just like how I said in music, where other artists go to other artists' concerts and things like that. And even when it comes to YouTube, like it does that old saying where, everything that's been said has been said, but then it's like everything needs to be said twice, So like even on YouTube, like with People Learn, that was like one of my things was if people even wanted me to like learn from me, but then I was like, well, everybody has their own style, everybody has their own voice. So even if you are repeating information that's already out there on YouTube, it's like you're the one, like you're saying it, so it has your own style on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's that's always gonna be a thing. You could like talk about something that has been taught and talked about a million times, but if you do it in your own way, you can not only make it entertaining and knowledgeful and I
know sometimes too in photography I felt this way too when I was sharing my images that, oh, what if anybody really likes it? And when it comes to photography, if you like your photo, that's really all that matters. I mean, I do enjoy like other people. I love when people say, "Man, your photo looks great." Like I love that too. I mean, I'm sure everybody loves that, but if you love your photo, then then it's a great photo.
Totally. Yeah, I would say that the reaction, like when I finish a photo and I like finish it and I look at it like on my phone or however my favorite way to look at it is, and I'm like, I really like this one. That feeling right there, I think is will be better than a million likes on a photo or whatever. It's just like it's just feeling proud of myself is
Yeah, and I know, and I feel not like I see, and then it's also nice to see on other toy photographers' Instagram stories, and I don't do this often as I would want to. Is I see a lot of everybody like reposting like people's photos just like on their story, and I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly the collaboration that I was like talking about. That's like, oh yeah, look at this photo, look at this photo, look at this photo, look at this one, and it's like they're not, we're just sharing each other's stuff, like, and it's great. So
it really is. It really is. Yeah, we got the best. We got the best community. Zeke Zach Zoom agrees over here in the live chat. But thank you guys so much for watching and throwing in questions and being here and checking it out. If you did enjoy it, make sure to drop a quick like on the video. That'd be like amazing. But Brent, thank you, dude, so much for everything.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, dude, you're the man. So yeah, everyone have a great week, and talk to you soon. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.
Oh yeah, I can talk photography at length. Like I just love talking about it. Like even it's anything like gear, photos, like photo ideas. And I gotta get with some of those because like I said, like I found my friend Toys and Diz. Basically, he texted me, like we interacted on Instagram, and then he asked like for my phone number, and then we started editing, and then like. Then now it's a friendship. Now we hang on the weekends and do toy photography and stuff, and like that. So it's like kind of cool. I have to get with Stegosaurus, who's like right down the street, and be like, "Hey," kind of like this, like toy photography meetup. No, I haven't used Discord. I don't sit at my computer long enough to. I know there's an app. I probably should download the app, but I was like, I don't. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that information is just right there on your YouTube, right? Or okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's great. Yeah. It's I was fine with my wife. The main thing was like, "Oh, are you nervous?" And I was like, "Oh man, we're just talking about photography. Like, it's just another day. Like, it's like, you know." But yeah. So I was just like, I was more like I was actually more nervous just like with people's like reaction because I know when I talk about stuff, I either talk really fast or I throw so much information that people lost me like 3 sentences ago. Sometimes. So, but yeah, it's just like even on my YouTube, she'll hear me doing my YouTube channel, like do my YouTube videos, and then she'll be like, breathe, and talk slower. Yeah, I always try to, yeah, and I'm trying to be more like natural about it and not maybe sound so scripted, things like that. I'm just like, yeah, I'm trying to find time. I work 3:30 in the morning to 3, or no, well, I wake up at 3. I work from like 5 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. during the week, and I'm just like, and I work in logistics, so it's a lot of walking around, and I'm just like totally drained after. So I spend the week like planning what I'm gonna do for the weekend, and then I make the photo during the weekend. So that's the routine right now. So I'm trying to find a way where I can plug in the like a live stream of stuff. Maybe even like I was even thinking like doing a live stream of maybe me setting it up and